The human fleet had been quiet for a long time. After centuries of peace on Earth, humanity had focused on exploration, science, and building machines that could reach the stars. Earth had grown strong, smarter, and wiser. Among all human creations, the most famous was the Titan-class warship Horizon. It was the largest warship ever built by humans, a true floating city in space. Smaller ships could dock inside it, and it carried thousands of crew members, each trained for different tasks, from exploration to combat. Captain Laura Davis stood on the bridge of the Horizon, looking out at the endless stretch of black space. The stars glimmered like diamonds, but there was one special area ahead. It was a sector humans had never visited before. Strange energy signals had been detected there, signals that suggested life, intelligence, and perhaps even technology beyond anything Earth had ever seen. Laura had been chosen to lead this mission because of her calm mind and her ability to make tough decisions without panicking. "Captain," said Commander Ethan Cole, standing behind her, "we're entering the coordinates. Sensors show several large objects ahead. They are moving slowly, but they are massive." Laura focused on the screen. The objects appeared faintly at first, small glimmers against the darkness, but as the ship drew closer, their shape became clearer. They were not like anything humans had seen before. They were large, metallic, and covered in strange markings. The vessels looked old, as if they had survived centuries of battle. Lieutenant Nora Lee, in charge of communications, was typing rapidly at her console. "I'm picking up energy emissions, Captain. Their power output is stable, but very high. They might have advanced technology, or they could be automated defense systems." Laura nodded slowly. "Prepare to make contact," she said. "We are here to learn, not to fight. Let them see who we are first." The Horizon moved closer, its engines glowing faint blue, bending space around it. It was a silent giant, powerful but calm. From the bridge, the human crew watched the alien fleet with curiosity. There were at least 10 ships, all arranged in a loose formation around a dying star. The star's light barely reached them, giving the scene an eerie glow. The aliens had built their fleet to survive harsh conditions, and the humans realized they were not dealing with weak or primitive beings. "Open the transmission channel," Laura said. The communication screen flickered, and a simple message was sent in a universal format. "We are humans. We come in peace. We wish to meet you." The response was silence. At first, the crew thought the aliens had not received the message, but the sensors showed that their ships had detected every energy pulse from the Horizon. They were watching. Ethan frowned. "They're not replying. That is unusual. Most intelligent species respond quickly, at least with curiosity." Laura studied the readings. Their scanners were focused on the Horizon, but instead of showing activity, they showed hesitation. The aliens' energy output was fluctuating. Their shields were moving, but their engines seemed to have paused. "They were frozen. What is happening?" Nora asked, her voice low. "They are scared," Laura said simply. "I have never seen anything like this. Their sensors are detecting the ship's full power, and they don't know what to do." The aliens were experiencing something humanity called awe. They had never seen a ship this large, this powerful, and yet not destructive. To them, the Horizon was more than a warship. It was a world. The hull shimmered like liquid silver, reflecting the dim light of the star. The engines bent gravity in ways the aliens had only studied in theory. And the weapons alone could erase entire planets. On the bridge, the human crew was calm, but the tension was thick. Every sensor reading was analyzed. Every movement of the alien ships watched closely. Laura knew that one wrong action could trigger fear, and fear could lead to violence. "Prepare a visual feed," she said. "Let them see us directly. We want them to know we are people, not machines." Nora adjusted the cameras and opened the live feed. The alien fleet saw the human faces clearly for the first time. Laura, Ethan, and Nora appeared on the screen, smiling gently. They were dressed in simple uniforms, unarmed, showing no threat. The reaction was immediate. The alien ships trembled. Their shields flickered and alarms went off in their systems. Admiral Karen, commander of the Thaler Dominion fleet, could not believe what he was seeing. "Impossible," Karen muttered. "That fragile species, that small, soft flesh, controls a warship that could destroy us all in seconds." His second, Yeln, looked worried. "It is not possible. They cannot have this much power." Karen's mind raced. For thousands of years, the Thalor had been a dominant power in this part of space. Their dreadnoughts were feared. Their weapons could destroy moons. But in front of them floated the Horizon, and even the smallest human weapons could not compare. "Send a signal back," Karen said, his voice shaking. Tell them we mean no harm." But as his crew worked, panic began to spread among the alien ships. Some suggested firing immediately, destroying the humans before they could react. Others begged patience. They did not understand that humans were not cruel. That was the real problem. The aliens assumed that great power always meant aggression. On the horizon, Ethan watched the sensors. "Captain, they are discussing something. It is hard to tell. There is confusion in their energy patterns," Laura nodded. "They are frightened, not aggressive." "That is good. Fear is easier to handle than hate," Nora spoke quietly. "Captain, their communications are mixed. Some of them want to attack. Others seem paralyzed. I can try to send more messages of peace." "Do it," Laura said. "Make sure they know we are explorers. Make sure they understand that strength is not always a threat." The messages went out in bursts of light and sound, coded in ways the aliens could interpret. Slowly, the panic on the other side eased, but it did not disappear. The Thaler had never seen a species like humans before. They had never imagined a race could be fragile in appearance but capable of such immense power. Hours passed in silence. The horizon drifted closer to the fleet. The bridge crew studied every flicker of alien energy, every movement, every signal. They learned about the aliens slowly, understanding that intelligence came in many forms, but fear was universal. "Captain," Ethan said, "if they do not respond, we may have to show more of our capabilities. They need to know that we are strong, but we mean no harm." Laura shook her head gently. "No, strength should speak without violence. We are not here to dominate. We are here to meet, to share, to learn. Let patience be our weapon." The human crew worked through the night, adjusting shields, monitoring engines, and analyzing alien behavior. They discovered patterns in the alien fleet's movements. Every time the horizon shifted slightly, the aliens' energy output increased. They were trying to understand, trying to measure what they had never measured before. By the next day, the aliens had stopped moving entirely. Every Thaler ship floated like a statue in space. Admiral Karen stared at the screens in disbelief. "We are frozen. We cannot move. We cannot comprehend them." Laura smiled faintly. "They will learn," she said. "Even in fear, they will learn." The first contact had begun. It had not been violent. It had not been diplomatic. It had been something far rarer, awe. The humans had arrived not as conquerors, but as a reminder of what the universe could become when strength and wisdom traveled together. As the horizon moved slowly past the alien fleet, showing its full size and power, the Thaler Dominion felt the impossible. Their greatest dreadnoughts, their centuries of war experience, were nothing compared to this single human ship. They were learning that strength without cruelty was a new kind of power, one they had never imagined. Captain Laura Davis looked out at the stars and thought quietly, "This is only the beginning. The galaxy will know us soon, not as destroyers but as humans." Ethan Cole stepped beside her. "Do you think they understand us?" Laura shook her head, smiling faintly. "Not yet. But they will. And when they do, they will never forget it." And with that, the horizon continued deeper into uncharted space, a shining titan of human ingenuity, courage, and mercy, ready to meet the universe not with war but with the hope of understanding. The Thaler Dominion had never felt fear like this before. In their long history, they had fought wars that spanned star systems, conquered worlds, and broken enemy fleets into dust. Yet now, in the presence of a single human Titan-class warship, their fleet was frozen. Every officer on the alien ships felt it, the awe, the disbelief, the quiet panic. Admiral Karen stood rigidly on the bridge of his flagship, the Eclipse, his multi-eyed head scanning every readout. His claws tapped nervously on the console. "This cannot be real," he muttered. "No species should have this much power. No ship should contain this much energy." His second, Yiln, hovered nearby, trembling. "Admiral, they are not moving, but they are alive. Their sensors are everywhere. Their shields are impenetrable. Even a warning shot would not touch them." Karen growled softly, a low vibration through his chest. "They are humans, yes?" "Yes," Yiln replied. "Small, fragile, like a newborn creature. But the ship is a world." Karen turned to the council of his officers. "We must act. Our fleet cannot stay paralyzed. Send a message. Tell them we mean no harm. Tell them we respect them, or we will lose control of our own people." The officers scrambled, fingers moving across strange, glowing panels. Messages were coded and transmitted in patterns designed to communicate peace. Yet even as the signal went out, anxiety spread among the ranks. One of the younger Thaler captains hissed, "Admiral, some of our fleets are calling for preemptive strikes. They want to destroy the humans before they can attack." Karen's eyes widened. "And you would obey them? You would commit genocide because your pride is too large to admit fear?" The young captain bowed stiffly. "It is not pride, sir. It is survival." Karen's gaze sharpened. "Survival? This is fear, not strategy. You are paralyzed by what you do not understand. That is not survival. That is death." Meanwhile, aboard the Horizon, the human crew watched the aliens' behavior with calm curiosity. Nora Lee monitored communications, analyzing every spike of energy and fluctuation in their signals. "Captain," she said softly, "they are scared. Some of them are trying to attack, but they hesitate. Others seem frozen completely. They cannot even decide what to do." Laura Davis nodded. "They are learning what humans are. This is how first contact should happen, not with battle but with awe. Let them see us as we are." Ethan Cole adjusted his console. "Should we make a show of power, just to make them understand?" Laura shook her head. "Not yet. Power without purpose can be misunderstood. Our presence alone is enough. Let them learn through observation, not fear." Despite her calm, the humans could sense the tension. They had trained for years to respond to hostile situations, but this was unlike anything they had imagined. The Thalor fleet's fear was both an advantage and a danger. If the aliens acted out of panic, the first contact could turn into disaster. Hours passed slowly. The Horizon drifted past the fleet, giving the aliens time to observe every detail of its massive frame. The shields shimmered like glass. The hull reflected starlight in patterns that seemed alive, and the engines bent space with a subtle glow. Sensors recorded energy levels far beyond what any alien ship could produce. To the Thaler, it seemed impossible that such fragile creatures could control such a machine. In the Thaler Council chamber, debate raged. Admiral Karen tried to maintain calm, but his officers argued loudly. "We must strike," said Varn, a warlord known for his aggressive tactics. "We cannot allow this species to grow. They will destroy us eventually." "No," shouted another officer. "We cannot fight what we cannot even touch. We would be dead before our weapons fire reaches them." Karen banged his claw on the console. "Enough, listen to reason. This is not war. These humans, they are not trying to harm us. Their ship is powerful, yes, but they do not move with aggression. Observe, learn, and communicate. That is how we survive this." Varn growled, his mandibles clicking. "Survive? You call this surviving? They are gods among men. If they wished it, we would be ashes by now." Kren turned to him, eyes sharp. "And yet they do not destroy. That is their power, Varn. The strength to choose restraint is greater than the strength to destroy." Varn's mouth snapped shut. No one had spoken to him this way in centuries. He backed down, but his eyes still burned with suspicion. On the Horizon, the human crew continued to observe. Laura watched the alien ship's movements and noticed patterns. When the human's ship tilted slightly, some alien vessels recoiled. When the humans broadcast peaceful images of life on Earth, children playing, oceans, forests, the aliens paused, fascinated, but still fearful. Ethan leaned over the console. "They don't understand our behavior. They expect strength to mean attack. They cannot imagine it could mean kindness," Laura nodded. "That is the lesson we bring. Fear is natural, but fear can turn into respect if handled with patience. Watch and wait. Let them decide, but patience alone could not last forever." The Thaler warlord Varn grew impatient. He ordered a small strike team of ships to move closer to the Horizon, testing their defenses. The human sensors immediately detected the movement. "Captain," Nora said urgently, "they are moving." "Weapons locked." Laura stood slowly. "Keep shields on. Do not engage. Let them see the futility of aggression." Ethan's jaw tightened. "They may fire. Even a small volley could cause damage." Laura's eyes were steady. "They will not understand until we show them the difference between power and aggression." "Stand down. The alien ship's fired." A single beam of energy streaked toward the Horizon. The massive shield activated automatically, absorbing the energy without shaking. The beam dissipated harmlessly into space, leaving no trace. On the bridge, the crew exhaled quietly. "They will learn," Laura said calmly. "Every shot they fire teaches them something about restraint. The Thaler fleet froze again, this time in shock. Their weapons were harmless, their efforts wasted. Panic rippled through their ranks. Kren's voice was calm but firm. Stop now. Observe what happens when we strike with fear. This is not power, it is weakness, Varn hissed, his pride wounded. We cannot let them survive. They are not like any species we know. They will rise and consume us if we do nothing. Kren's eyes flared. You still do not understand. The humans choose mercy. That is why we live to see this day. Aggression is not strength. It is ignorance. Learn it now or perish in confusion. The aliens were beginning to see the truth, fear mixed with wonder. The humans did not respond with destruction. They responded with calm. They did not escalate conflict. Instead, they held the power to destroy but chose not to. On the horizon, Laura watched the alien fleet closely. They are learning, she said. Even Varn will understand eventually. It takes time, Nora nodded. They are confused. Their sensors keep trying to measure us. They cannot. Everything they know about power is wrong. Ethan leaned back, smiling faintly. This is what first contact should be. They do not understand us. They fear us, but they will learn if we guide them. The rest of the day passed with tense silence. The Thalor fleet maintained distance, unwilling to act aggressively again but still unable to relax. They scanned the horizon, recording every detail, sending messages of peace and confusion simultaneously. At night, aboard the horizon, the humans gathered in small groups. Some worked on repairs, some studied alien signals, and some simply watched the stars. Laura walked among them quietly, observing her crew. They are frightened, Ethan said, but that is not a bad thing. Fear can be the teacher of respect. Laura nodded. We show them our power, yes, but only through control. We are strong, but we are human. We do not destroy without reason. That is what they must understand. That is why the Titan was built. Not to rule, but to teach. As the horizon drifted through uncharted space, its massive hull reflecting the dying light of the star, the aliens studied it. They could not believe such a fragile species controlled such a giant. Their fear began to mix with curiosity, and the first steps toward understanding began. Admiral Karen sent a new message to the humans. We wish to speak. We wish to learn. Laura smiled faintly. Then we are ready, she said. This is the first real conversation between our species. Let it be one of peace. Even as the message was received, whispers of doubt remained among the Thalor fleet. Some still wanted to attack. Some still feared. But they had seen restraint, and the memory of power held without violence would not be forgotten. And so, the first day of contact ended, not with a battle, not with destruction, but with the quiet, trembling fear of those who had finally seen the impossible. Humanity's Titan-class warship had shown the galaxy that true strength was not measured by destruction, but by the courage to choose mercy.